Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dimes with Dara on the Joy Slot podcast, brought to you by IrishSportsDaily.com. I am Greg Flammang, and that is Dara Mabrey. For the first time this year, Dara. Well, not the first time, but the first time in a long time. First time in the ACC. We're going to talk about a loss. We're going to talk about a loss that the ladies incurred at NC State, the now number 9 ranked NC State Wolfpack, then number 13. Listen, it was a classic. It was back and forth. 21 ties, 21 lead changes. The largest lead for either team was 3 points. 3 points. I mean, talk about never pulling away. Look, first and foremost, you got to give credit to NC State. Like they played a great basketball game, and they made all their free throws, which is obviously very important. They were efficient in that way. You said teams where they were it was a frantic pace from start to finish. We thought at some point the teams would slow down. They didn't. And they ended up pulling it out. Double overtime, 104 to 95. So Notre Dame drops their first game in ACC play, and they still have a good chance to get the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament for sure. Definitely. And then as an NCAA tournament team, but they've got some games coming up against some ranked opponents. They're going to be at home, so we'll see if they can bounce back. But we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about some of the things we saw. And a little hot streak for Sonia Citron, I think, is kind of the main take for me, on a positive side, a main takeaway from this game. So we're going to talk about all those things. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. If you like what you hear, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so whenever it is we go live or release a video. And as always, the show is brought to you by ESQ Clothing, founded by Notre Dame alum Ga Wang. You've seen ESQ and all your favorite Notre Dame players and coaches with over a decade of making the best custom clothing available. ESQ will help you look and feel your best in 2025, from a perfect fitting suit or sport coat, shirt, or bomber jacket, or the perfect tuxedo for wedding season. Check out Ga's amazing work at esqclothing.com. Book an appointment to upgrade your wardrobe today. Mention ISD and get 10% off your entire purchase. And I don't know if you know this, Dara. Big news on the ESQ front. They have a new location, the second location on 1085 Gage Street in Winnetka, Illinois. We're very excited about that. Ga's opening up a new store, new shop. So go check him out there. Dara, first and foremost, how are you doing? How are things going for your basketball team? We were talking about it. Huge win the other day. Let's talk about it. How'd it go? What happened?
Okay. Yes, I'm doing great. I'm still in Hungary. We were in a really close game on Saturday. We have about 3 weeks left until the playoffs. So we're kind of in the final stretch right now. And it was, I think, the closest game I've been in over here, my first overtime situation over here. So I learned a lot. We were down 10 with somewhere between 3 and 4 minutes. Basically, the entire gym thought we were going to lose. Yeah. We came back. There was a couple of missed free throws, and then we got the rebound. We came down. Being the humble person that I am, I made a big play. That took us to overtime. And
excuse me. Made a big play. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Did you tip the ball inbounds to a player who hit a shot? Did you tip a rebound to someone who hit a big shot? What exactly happened there? We don't do humility here.
My 5'6" self did not tip the ball to anybody by any means.
I want people to know what happened. I know what happened.
She missed the free throw. My teammate got the rebound, and I circled around. I came off of the ball screen, and I hit a 3 with 6 seconds left from 5 feet behind the line. And I was not shooting the 3 well that game by any means. And when I let it go, I was like, oh yeah, that's in. And then we celebrated. We ran back. We got screamed at to run back because we were celebrating. And this girl is dribbling as fast as she can down the court, about to score another layup. We got a block, a stop, overtime, and we won in overtime. And it was so fun. It was so cool. It's the loudest the gym has ever been. And the chemistry of the team, felt better than it's ever been. It was just great heading into the last 3 games that we have. And we have another one coming up on Saturday, which is a big one. at home. So basketball has been really fun over here. I really can't lie.
We love to hear that. And then we love that much better than I made a big play and we won in overtime.
Yeah. So
this is a storytelling medium. I don't know if you know that. Come on, Dara. You got to give people the info. No, that's good. That's great to hear. We love to hear that. You got the playoffs coming soon, right?
Yeah.
Listen, at the risk of embarrassing my pod mate here, it sounds like you're kind of thriving out there. I mean, that's just my impression, right?
No, it is totally. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Budapest is great. We're not that far from there. I get to go there a lot. That city is amazing, to say the least. It's very diverse. There's a lot to do. It kind of gives you like a New York feel in a sense, that it's more fast paced than most European cities, at least that I've been to, and diverse, like I said. And it's like, there's a young crowd, middle-aged crowd. Like you can honestly get whatever in that city. And it's really fun, really, really fun. So I am thriving.
Down 10 with,
that's a lot.
Left. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Everyone thought that that was it for us. And like the 3 quarters that I had before that, like it was like a lot of back and forth. Again, a really like hectic, chaotic, fast-paced game.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, just after talking with my teammates, it felt like the last couple minutes like felt slowed down for us, which was again another area of growth. Given we just added a new American. So, that's different spot. People are playing different stuff. Whoa. People are playing in different spots. People are moving around. Sorry, I needed to gather myself there. I'm just so excited. So yeah, I mean, everything just felt like it was coming together. And it's nice to, be confident, but not comfortable. We'll get into that again when we talk about our ladies.
Our ladies.
Yeah.
Sticking with this for a second, I'm curious, what is your mindset down 10, 3 minutes left, right? Like, are you just when you're in it, do you go to just like it that mindset of it's not, we haven't lost until the game's over. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, totally. I think there are sometimes points where it's like, okay, we're down 10 with 10 seconds left. We're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
But I think
you can do.
Right. Like what is that your mindset? Does it creep in? I don't want to say doubt, but like realization, like, man, we're in a bad spot. Like we are very much at risk of losing here. Like very, very tenuous situation. Like what is your mindset in those moments?
Yeah. So as the point guard, like obviously it's my job to keep everybody calm. Mm-hmm. And there was like a couple times before that within the game where I was going too fast, and I kind of just like brought us together at the perfect time. But every time, like this is not new, every time that I've been in this situation, and we practice this, like I practice it in college and in high school, to go stop, score, stop. And if you just like kind of like mentally slow the game down and take it one possession at a time, like every time I would gather my team together, whether it was in a huddle or a timeout, it's like, okay, we'll get a stop, then we'll get a score, and then we'll get another stop. And you take it one possession at a time, just lock in as much as you can. And for us, it was the defense. Like we were not locked in defensively as much as we should have been. And just like, even me, like one time I got beat backdoor. What the hell are you doing? Like, we don't even play like deny defense. I was like that was not good. Then we didn't have like one help rotation, but like at the end when we needed to lock in, every rotation was there. It was deflection, steal, rebound. Okay, now calm down. And we got like the other post player had 4 fouls, so she could not foul. She couldn't do anything. So we went into the post every single time. So I came off, made the pass, and then we went in and we kept scoring and scoring. And then the one time where they doubled, I kicked it to my one teammate and she was hot from 3. Like she came alive in the 4th and in overtime. Like it was amazing to see. One possession at a time just kind of makes everybody calm down because everyone freaks out. Like when you have to push the panic button, because you have to push it at some point,
Right.
you know, but you can't show it, you know? So like in my head, I'm like, okay, calm down. It was a really bad 3 quarters before this, but you have time. If it was 150 left, I would be like, F word, get the ball as fast as I can, go up the court and maybe try to foul.
Yeah.
No. And then, I mean, to credit my coach too, like he made all the right play calls. He told us exactly what to do. It was just great from top to bottom. A really nice moment to see everything coming together. Because, you know, over here, we play once a week. We don't play 2 or 3 times a week.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
you practice really hard throughout the week, 5 days, 6 days, and then you have one game. So it's nice to see our work come together like that.
I feel like maybe it's like helpful at the end of games. I mean, obviously you don't want to be losing, right?
Right.
I mean, this could work the other way too if you're in the lead, but what has to happen, like you just kind of described, like possession by possession, it's very clear. Like when you're in the game, let's say, you know, there's 3 minutes left in the third quarter or whatever the case may be, like it's not as defined, right? Like it's just possession over and over and again. Like obviously you don't want them to score on any possession, but you know what I'm saying? Like it becomes like, hey, we have to score, we have to get a stop, stop, score, and then we're in it again, right? Whereas, you know, as the game's going, you just kind of get caught in the flow. Like, oh, the flow will bring us back, but at the end, you can kind of center yourself and be like very intentional about what your goals are.
Yes, exactly. Intentional. That was a really good point. And like the communication, like we were not communicating in the huddle like we were the 3 quarters before that. It's like, okay, we're switching, we're chasing, we're doing this. And if you need help, switch again, do this, break. Yeah. And we did exactly what we needed to do. Yeah. So yeah, intentional is a good word to describe it.
Is there like another comeback in your life that you can think about where it's like we came back from down? It could be any time. It could be when you were 10. It's like, what's another comeback that you can think of where it's like, oh man, we were down 10 points with 12 seconds left?
I honestly can't. You know what's crazy is like it's not even a game I played in. Every time I hear comeback game, I think of Notre Dame versus Tennessee, down 26, come back and win the game. It was unbelievable.
What year was this?
It was Marina and Enrique's. I think it was their junior year, I think. No. Maybe their senior year. I don't know. It was the biggest comeback, though, in our history. It was unbelievable to see and to watch. Marina and Enrique were just like banging threes left and right in the fourth quarter. Like they came back and it was unbelievable.
Well, where were you? Where, like you were in high school?
I think I was. If Marina was a junior, yeah, I was a senior in high school. If she was a senior, I was a freshman at Virginia Tech.
Oh my goodness. Largest comeback in Notre Dame women's basketball team program history. They won.
Unbelievable.
So they were down 23 points.
23. Okay, yeah.
They ended up winning by 14. 37-point turnaround.
Oh my God, I just got the chills. It's insane. And they put this one play from that game in our hype video before every game, like on the Jumbotron. And I would just like sit there and be mesmerized. I watched the whole video every single time. That game was unbelievable.
Inside Purcell, number 5 Notre Dame against number 6 Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so cool.
Entered the second quarter trailing 27-10. Enrique, 27 points, 8 rebounds. Let me see if I can find some stats here. I just see Enrique. There is a photo of a Notre Dame women's basketball player by the name of Marina Mabrey shooting a 3 in the corner here.
Yep. That was for the lead. They took the lead on that 3.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, that was
so cool.
On the subject of tying 3-pointers. Sonia Citron hit a pretty big one for Notre Dame against NC State. Unfortunately, it did not lead to a victory. as they lose
Yeah.
104 to 95. I guess just what was different from your point of view, right? I mean, look, beyond the fact that NC State played a great basketball game on their home court. They're a good
They
basketball
did.
team.
They
And like I don't want to make too much of this, right? Like this happens in basketball, it just does.
It's just there's just so much around it because we just took the number one spot and we go on the road and we lose, and it's like I have a different outlook though that I will share.
Let's hear it.
I think them losing that game is the best thing that could happen to them right now.
Okay.
They haven't seen approaching March, right?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't seen adversity in a while.
Yeah.
They've won every game and every big game since those losses to TCU and Utah. Facing some adversity before March on the road is great. I mean, it exposed so much that they can get better at. And it kind of gave them a taste of how hard people are going to play against them.
Yeah.
Like people get up for Notre Dame. It's always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing as UConn, South Carolina, and all the other powerhouses. People get up more. More people come to watch, and I think that it showed them exactly what you can and can't do in situations like this. And maybe to value other players at times when things aren't going the way that they normally go for certain players, who to turn to in a clutch moment, maybe switch up the defenses a little bit more. I just think that it's a big lesson is learned, and it's a blessing in disguise. Not even in disguise. I'm like, the only thing that you guys can do is learn from it. And what? Right. You win the rest of ACC play. You beat Florida State. You beat Louisville. Then you take the number one spot. You go into the ACC tournament as the number one seed, and you can still get a number one seed in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
And you get another crack at NC State if that lines up in the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
So I think it's good.
Yeah, like everything's still there for them, of course.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that I think that you think that they should kind of take away from this?
Defense and shot selection. Okay. You had people just ripping, going, and getting to the rim. That cannot happen. That cannot happen whether it's the person that is guarding the ball isn't getting beat or there's nobody in help. Mm-hmm. That's just like, and it's middle drives. Like in our defenses, we want to force you to the sideline and to the baseline, because once you go to the middle, it's hard to rotate. It's hard to rotate this way instead of this way, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because then it's easy. You have multiple options to kick out and nobody knows where to help.
Is that a mental error? Allowing drives to the center. I mean, it's kind of like I think about this in football terms. Like if you're defending a receiver and your help is middle and you allow them to the outside, like to me, it's a physical mistake, but it's also a mental error. You cannot. That's mentally you need to align yourself to where it's like you're closing off the outside of the field.
Right. And in this situation, I think it holds a little bit more weight because that's our principle. Yeah. That's not a scout or a scheme. That the help is in the same spot every game, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's not like this game will have help from the middle. No, we never want to force middle ever. So the man-to-man defense was bad. I think personally, like, we can match up with them. You just have to try a little bit harder, and you have to know. So like when you're guarding Sanaya Rivers, she is a really good athletic pull-up jump shooter, right? She wants to get to that sweet spot. And it's like, you guys aren't playing her for the pull-up jump shot. That's a mental, right? So defense definitely can improve, one-on-one defense and the help rotation. I thought maybe we could have tried to go zone at times, like when we were getting beat. I don't know. This is me speaking, like what I would do maybe just to switch it up. like just to
Yeah.
throw a different look at them. And then if they bang 2 or 3 threes, then okay, you gotta, now you're in adversity and you just gotta dig deeper and just find something else. And then the shot selection was just so bad. It was terrible. I think you have the 3-point percentages.
Yeah, so
and
they shot 7 of 27 from 3.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not what you want, right? Like that's you're 26%, and look, they're shooting over 40% for the season, right? So
right.
Sometimes though, like you're shooting 40% because you're taking shots that lend themselves
Good.
to going in rather than
Yes.
like, some like you're taking, shots that are sometimes you say out of pocket, like you're a little out of pocket with the way you're taking this
Right.
shot.
Like read the room.
Right. Like it's just like, yeah, we're not shooting 40% because we're taking this type of shot. Right. And so sometimes that can happen. And obviously, like, 7 of 27, and Notre Dame has Liv and Hannah go 6 of 20. So only 10 free throw. The only player to shoot a free throw for Notre Dame was Hannah Hidalgo with 10 free throws. And, to your point, like you said, well, if you're going to shoot from the outside, you're just going to jack from the outside. You're not going to get to the free throw line, and so.
And it's a long rebound. Like that's a rebound, and NC State is coming. Like they were pushing the ball, they were scoring in transition, just getting layups, and it's like, okay, take the open 3, and then maybe get a paint touch, maybe get Sonia running off of a screen for a layup, something like that. But it's like the long, quick threes really killed us.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, I want to amend something. I said the largest lead by either team was 3. The largest lead by Notre Dame was 3. NC State's largest lead was 10.
Right.
But obviously 21 ties, 21 lead changes. It's a back and forth game.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, 26 fast break points for Notre Dame, 19 for NC State. So to your point, I mean, these teams are flying up and down the court, right? And look at to both teams' credit, I mean, it's very, very competitive on that front. Let's talk about Sony for a second and just kind of what we've seen from her over the last 5 games. I feel like this is pretty big for Notre Dame's prospects as a tournament team, ACC tournament team, but also like they want to win a national championship this year.
Right.
Over the last 5 games, 19 points per game, 7 rebounds, 48% from 3, shooting 64% from the field. The only thing I would say about that is like 9 free throw attempts in 5 games. She's a very good free throw shooter. She's not getting to the line. It's not a criticism. It's just something that, you notice.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we would like to see more of that.
Right.
I would like to see her get to the line more.
But how important is it that Sony is playing the way that she is? I mean, and not just that, but like she's hitting big shots. The 3 she hit is obviously as big as it gets to extend the game. How important is it for Sony to get going specifically? Because, if this becomes I don't want to say big 3, it's kind of already a big 3, but like she becomes a 19 points per game scorer on 64%. That's going to work for Notre Dame. Just talk about her kind of ascent here in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. I think it's really big for the team because Hannah and Olivia, no matter what the stat line is at the end of the game, the ball is going to be in their hands that much, right? So then it comes down to like what they're producing with the ball in their hands. And I think that the team is just better when Sonia has the ball in her hands and is able to make decisions, get to the rim, get her pull up, or even make a play for somebody else. Like a lot of people forget that she's a really good passer too. She's so versatile. And you need all of that coming. You need everybody feeling their best, going into March. And our team has had some adversity. Maddie's still coming back. I would say still trying to find a flow. She looks better every game to me, but like, it's inevitable coming off of an injury like that and being out. You're probably still trying to manage to find a flow. Different pieces moving around. Kate's minutes have gone down. Leah too's been in more positions to score and get a bucket. But Sonia, I think Sonia's value has still laid underneath the radar because of all the flashiness of Liv and Hannah's play.
Yeah.
Obviously, which is amazing, and just the notoriety that comes along with that. So I think that it's refreshing to see Sonia have the ball in her hands and be able to make decisions because she's so trustworthy. Like, she was the one, you know, in the NC State game when everything was essentially hitting the fan.
Mm-hmm.
She got a bucket. She got another bucket. Then she
Yeah.
got an O board and went back up. And then at one point, it looked like she took the game into her hands, you know? And some of these are even happening like off of broken plays where like they might drive, they have no option left, and then she's getting downhill and she's getting an M1. So it's like, I think that if we go to her earlier, it will make our offense even more powerful, because then it's like you can't just lock in on Olivia and Hannah. And then what? Okay, you can throw her in the post too. You want to get more free throws, go to her early in the post. She's a bigger guard. She can post up a lot of other guards. So really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge for them, right? And it's huge for her. I mean, because of the variety of ways. I mean, if she gets hot from three, it's like one of those things. It could be very lethal for a team.
Yeah.
We talked about shot selection. 13 assists on 40 made shots. Ball's not really whipping around. Like, they average 18 assists on 33 made shots, right? We're talking about a double overtime game. So they had more opportunities, right? They're usually assisting on a lot more of their made baskets, over half. This one was obviously very much under half. So it's just, you know, to you, in your opinion, is this kind of like was it the one game kind of thing? Or is it like something you've kind of noticed that you want to, I mean, funny enough, the deciding factor wasn't turnovers, which we thought it would be. They only had 12 on the game. They averaged 15, and those are obviously in, you know, regulation, right? So they did well protecting the ball. But you talked about the shot selection. Is that something you feel like let's not let this be a regular thing, or has it been kind of trending in a way where it's like it makes you a little bit uncomfortable?
No, not necessarily. I think that's why I said before that I think this adversity is good, because I think at times shot selection is like, whoa, settle down there. But it was never an issue because we have great rebounders and we're getting downhill and making up for it on both ends of the floor. Turnovers, at one point, we play so fast. And the turnovers are usually like intentional and they have a good idea behind it. You know, we're trying to whip the ball inside. Maybe we're getting flashy. No. And then this game, I honestly was just watching, like, our team clearly was just not themselves tonight. And I was like, oh goodness. And it happens and you learn from it. You know, like I said, it's a blessing. Yeah. But no, nothing concerning. I think the only thing that I would say is we've seen quick shots. Our team has done that forever because, like I said, we want to push pace. We don't want to use the whole shot clock because we have such great scoring abilities in all 5 positions. Mm-hmm. I just think that they need to be able to, with the great point guards that we have on the floor, they need to be able to read the room a little bit. If you've missed that many threes, maybe just don't take the one off of the ball screen. Maybe just take the one that's a driving kick where your feet are set, maybe where you're wide open. Like, we were taking contested threes. It's hard to win off of those because if you don't make it, it's a rebound and a bucket at the other end at that level in the ACC. So nothing too concerning. No, I think you can, like, obviously credit NC State. They played a great game. They're very well coached. He's a great coach. And they have some really good guards in Sanaya Rivers, Isaiah James, and Zoe Brooks, and they perform really, really well. So obviously that does not discredit anything to NC State.
For sure.
I just think we were not ourselves at all.
Yeah. And I think, like, NC State has a history of playing Notre Dame well, right? Like,
yes,
sometimes you just have a program that is comfortable playing against you, you know, and it is what it is. And the other part is, like, Hannah and Liv, they're they want the smoke. I mean, they want all the smoke. They are very confident, right? So
Totally.
like, I think for them, that can sometimes be like someone told me one time, one of my professors told me one time, like your weaknesses are just your strengths in excess. And I feel like for Hannah and Liv, like I think they want it so much, especially on the road. Like they want to be the one to hit the three that shuts up the crowd, you know? And so they're confident that next shot, it's going in. It's going in. And that's how confident they are, right? And so you can get into a game where it's a little, it's like, I don't know if that's the best shot, right? But they feel that way. And like, look, when you have two alphas like that, it's just, I don't want to say that's how it's going to be, but you understand why it happens.
Almost, yeah.
You know, just understand. You know, it's one of those things, like you said, it's a learning moment, and the next time, you know, they can say, "Look, in this game, it was too much." And maybe in film and everything, they look back and they say to themselves, like, "I could have done that in this spot, right?" But again, you get them in an away gym. They like the spotlight. I don't want to say like the spotlight. The lights aren't too bright for them, right?
Never.
They're
As
always
they shouldn't
ready.
be.
They're always coming and they're always ready. And you know, look at it cost them some poor possessions in this game. And if you're not, you know, you end up 6 of 20 from 3, right? Like that's not being efficient, you know. Well, look, it is what it is. You have stars on your team, and you know, you go 20-1 or 18-1 in the ACC instead of 19-0. You know. Do you think, and this just popped in my mind about not changing up the defense at all? Is this one of those things where Niel says, you know what, this is a team we might face later. I don't need to show them what I might have in mind for them via a zone or some other type of change-up defense. Is that possible?
Yeah, maybe. And also, like, think of who she's facing. Like, NC State, clearly, I mean, they showed us, is a really good three-point shooting team. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So maybe she thought they're just going to shoot us out of the zone, which they've had a history of hitting a lot of threes. Yeah. Not just against us, against everybody. Like, they're a great three-point shooting team. He encourages them to pull the three.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, that's what she thought.
And also, like, if we're playing man and we're sending them to the middle, like maybe just play the defense how you're supposed to, and then
which we weren't doing.
Yeah,
then it
like,
doesn't.
I don't need to change the defense. I need you to not let them go to the middle of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So okay. I mean, the great thought process too, because that's how it should be. Like she's probably thinking, why don't you just not let her beat you middle with 2 dribbles? Yeah.
And you know, and sometimes you get caught up in it, and it, you know, it is what it is, right? On tomorrow, they've got a game coming up on Thursday, the last 2 ACC games against Florida State. That's Thursday. That's going to be at Purcell, and then they're going to finish off the regular season against Louisville at Purcell. Those teams are ranked 24th and 25th, or like they were. I'm not sure what they are now. I know Florida State is ranked in the top 25. I know they're both ranked in the top 25. I don't know that this is up to date because it says here NC State's 13, but I know they're 9. So we'll see. But those are, you know, 2 good. I think it's good that these are 2 good matchups.
Yeah, totally. They're good teams,
and they're good teams, and you got to play well, right? Like continue to play well, and you know, see where it goes from there. They've been romping teams. The last single digit win they had prior to this loss was at Clemson, January 12th by 9. I think that might be the only in league play, the only single digit win they've had.
Yeah, and I think they're a better team now than they were then. That was a tough one.
Yeah, because then they've got Maddie back, and they've got Liza Carlin back and everything. Yeah, so they've been romping teams. So look, like you said, you know, look, hey, you can lose. You know, you play loose, you play a little bit, you know, out of pocket, you could lose the game.
Yeah, you could.
It's important to keep that in mind. It's important to keep that in mind, especially with the way they've been rolling and everything. So, any final things, Dara, before we get going here?
I think Thursday senior night, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Would it be senior night, not the last game?
We usually we have Louisville at home at the end of every ACC play, and it's usually the one game before that. So,
well, let's give some time to the to the
obviously a special place for Sonia.
Yeah.
That's one of my best friends since the very first day she came to Notre Dame. So that will be an emotional night, I'm sure.
Friend of the pod.
Yeah. Yes. Totally. But all of them, and the adversity that they went through, Olivia and I with our injuries and, Maddie coming back and the history that her family has had with Notre Dame, Liza and Leah too, coming over for their last year. Yeah. That's special. I'm excited for them to really feel the love because Notre Dame does a really good job on senior night. And Sarah, my girl, Sarah, she deserves all the flowers that night.
Tell us about Sarah. We talked about her a little bit on previous shows, but a lot of people. Sarah Cernugal.
She was. Not
a lot of people know about her.
Offered a scholarship her last year. She was a walk-on, and no one really talks about what walk-ons go through. Mm-hmm. They do everything that every other player does. Obviously, they just usually don't get the minutes. And Kylie. How did I forget? Well, I think Kylie has a chance to come back.
Right.
I think. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Sarah, no one really talks about or gives the flowers that they should to the walk-ons. But she deserves it. She always would come in every single day, played as hard as she could. She's very quiet. She would just come in, work hard, put her head down, and she was just the best teammate. Anytime you needed a random pick me up, or if you were having a bad day, she was just mature. She knew how to read the room. She was great teammate. And comes from a great family too. So yeah, that's a lot of seniors they have. I know that'll be a very emotional night, not only for the players, but for the coaches too, because a lot of them came in at the start of the Ivy era.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sony and Maddie especially.
Yeah.
I personally, I love Maddie and her game and the way that everything that she kind of brings. I vibe with that. Sony, I think everyone loves Sony. When you
for a reason.
The girls go out of the ladies go out of their way to highlight her all the time. Personally, she never speaks, so there's that.
Yeah.
How did we ever get her on this podcast? It's like a miracle.
I know.
But she will never advocate for herself, and the girls are always advocating for her. And
exactly. That says a lot.
And it says to me, it says everything, right? Yeah. They know what she means to them, and what she means to the team, and what she brings. It's just weird. It's weird to think about her not being in the program next year. Because she's been around for so long, and she's been a mainstay for so long. Same with Maddie too. Yeah. So it'll like you said, it'll be an emotional night. It'll be tough for everybody. But listen, there's a long run ahead of them. Hopefully, knock on wood. We're going to see a lot more games with them in the Notre Dame.
March is approaching. I'm so excited.
It is. We are on the doorstep. Yeah. All right, so we can end it there for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Sooner it is, we're going to go live. We'll be back. We got to do some preview stuff. ACC tournament.
We
talk.
We will be back.
ACC tournament talk. We can do some, NCAA tournament talk. We can usually ramp up during the NCAA tournament time. We do a lot more pods and things like that. So yeah. Maybe we'll do a live show if Dara is amenable to that.
If it works out.
Yes. I had to cut out some things in this show. Dara's knocking over lights and all these other things, and it's just a disaster. But that's all good. I think people like that. So during the NCAA tournament, they play during the day, so that kind of lends itself to
that will help.
Us being able to do shows.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to everybody soon. Have a good rest of your day. What are they going to do in the meantime, Dara?
Get buckets.
Let's go.